Welcome! You are listening to the Fibre Muse podcast, and here we talk about how conscious crafting and intentional creation can lead to transformational impact and dive into stories of how we can make a difference through the power of knitting. My name is Francoise of Aroha Knits, and I'm joined by my co-hosts and best friends in the Fibre community, Chelsea of Knitfitch and Claire of We Love Knitting. So pick up your knitting and join us for this week's episode so you'll feel inspired to transform your yarn into experiences and moments. Hello there, Fibre Muses, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Fibre Muse podcast. And I'm really super excited for this episode today because the entire gang is here. We've got Chelsea, and now we have Claire. Claire is back! Yay!
Yay!
Yay! So
she's like,
Claire.
make some noise so they know we're actually here.
Exactly. So Claire, now that you're back on the show, where have you been? What adventures did you get up to?
Oh, yeah, I've been up to a whole lot of things. I went to LA because I had a trunk show at the Altered Stitch, which is an amazing little yarn shop. You know about it, Frenchie. You had a trunk show there recently too, didn't you?
Yeah, it was in February. Wait, what month are we in? We're in March. Sorry, it was in November.
November? The last year?
Yeah. How
did you go from February to November?
Sorry. Don't ask.
Okay.
I got confused in my head. Just okay.
Yeah, well, the time really is flying at the moment. I can't believe how far through the year we are already. It feels like it was just New Year's yesterday. But yeah, the reason I decided to do the trunk show at the Altered Stitch is because, well, firstly, I have a friend that helps manage the shop, and my friend Rachel Barish, she talked me into coming over. Like, basically, I just wanted to go visit her, and I thought, how can I make this a business trip? No, not really. Like, that's part of it. But the Altered Stitch is just such a fascinating, amazing business because it was the vision of a lady who has since passed away, who wanted to have only indie dyed yarns in the store and support indie dyers. And she started this thing called the Fibre Collective, I believe. And it aims to support up and coming indie dyers. And everyone that works there now are all keeping her vision alive. And her husband runs the shop now. He's the owner. He's just like keeping this going to keep her memory, and it's just so special. I was really, really lucky to be a part of something so wonderful.
Oh, that's cool. How did the trunk show itself go?
Oh, it went really well. I mean, it was good while I was still okay. I actually got really sick. So yeah, I caught the flu while I was there. So I was only at the trunk show for the first couple of days, and then I was very sick. It was horrible. So I spent at least 7 days of my time there just in bed. Like, I couldn't get out of bed, so it was a pretty bad flu. So it was pretty bad luck to get that on my trip, because also I was staying at my friend Rachel's house, and she was sick at the same time too, but with something else. She had strep throat, so I was staying at her house, and we didn't want to infect each other, so it was really, and like, we were both so sick, and we hadn't seen each other in 2 years, and we were just so excited to spend time together, but we were both just so sick. And then I had to leave because I didn't want to give her the flu. So she put me on the train to San Diego, and I could barely stand up. I was just like dead to the world, and she put me like on my seat on the train and paid for my ticket and like carried my bags and everything because I was just like incoherent. And then I went down to stay with Tim, and then he looked after me. But he was in conferences all day, and then out at night as well for like work meetings and dinners and stuff. So I was just asleep in the hotel room for several days.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
Yeah, sorry, I went on about that for way too long.
That's okay. I did ask what you did on your adventures, and unfortunately, it sounded like you were bedridden most of the time.
Yeah, it's not really an exciting story. I went to America and I lay in bed for a week.
But I'm sure you gained some good experiences from your first trunk show, though.
Yes. Well, yeah, it actually was my first trunk show. I guess I've done other festivals and I have my yarn at 2 stores and I've had like launch parties, I guess we called them, which is a bit different to a trunk show, I think. So yeah, it was my first official trunk show, so that was good.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Yay, the listeners have heard about my flu. That's such an interesting podcast.
Well, now maybe let's move on to something that's a little bit more interesting and maybe a little bit more current. But let's talk about our current knitting projects, Claire. And maybe we can start with you, Claire. Like catch us up on everything that you've knit, you've finished, and what you're working on right now, maybe.
Okay, yeah, so right now I'm working on Please and Thank You Socks. The pattern is by Jessica Gore from the Sweater Collective. She is amazing. She's just such a lovely person and great designer, and I'm really happy to be knitting her pattern. And the yarn I'm using is my February club colorway. So it's a really nice one to go together with that pattern. It's really soft pink and it just suits the delicate, it's got faux cables, like a slip stitch mock cable. So it's just like a really nice little detailed sock. And I'm doing them 2 at a time, so I'm not going to get second sock syndrome. And yeah, I'm also still knitting my Siri cardigan, like that's still on the needles. And I've got another fade cardigan on the needles as well. So I'm just like alternating between the 3 projects at the moment.
So you're working on the Siri cardigan and the fade cardigan. The fade, I've noticed that even other designers are doing their own takes on the whole like find your fade stuff.
I'm so glad, like I'm glad that it's now like becoming more widespread because fades are so much fun to dye. They're just like they're fascinating as a dyer. We get to experiment and we get to put things together for people, and I think that I love doing that so much because like when people buy yarn on their own, sometimes they can't see it and know the yarn as well as I do when I'm dyeing it. And when I'm doing a fade, I can very purposefully put a fade together for someone easier than they could do by buying the yarn separately and hoping that it will work. So like I'm just really having so much fun trying to make these perfect fades, and it's just like become like a new obsession for me.
Nice. Yeah, they seem like a lot of fun to knit up, but I haven't had a chance to get into the whole fade craze yet.
The fade fad.
Fade fad. Nice.
Or fade phase.
Yeah. Any other projects you're working on?
They're the only ones that are in my knitting bags at the moment. I've got like 5 other ones that are stuffed into my closet, but yeah.
Alrighty. Okay, so Chelsea, you have to give us an update on what was it called? The Sock Saga? I feel like there has to be another S in there. Sock Saga story.
There you go. So I was last working on the simple sock, just like a vanilla sock. And I got all the way to the toe. So I started cuff down. I don't know if I told everyone this last time. Cuff down. So I was ending on the toe, and I go to do can I cuss on your I don't think I should cuss.
I'd like to hear you cuss. I don't think I've ever heard you cuss.
It's not a cuss word in Australia. I was just going to say the damn Kitchener stitch. Anyway.
Oh, you're so naughty. Oh, that's a horrible language.
Okay. In the States, it's technically a swear word, not in Australia, okay? Anyway.
But the thing is, in Australia, no swears are technically swear words, apparently.
Anyway, so I went to do the Kitchener stitch and totally, I don't know what, I've done the Kitchener stitch before, but I totally messed it up and dropped all the stupid stitches. And then I was like, screw this. And I grabbed my I had 2 darning needles.
Darning needles.
Language, Chelsea.
Damn darning needles. And I put them on the stitches. And now I just have one sock with 2 darning needles on the toe, just kind of sitting there. And I gave up because I sat there and looked at the sock and was like, this doesn't even fit my foot because I used it. I just totally messed up that sock. So it's sitting for now, but I am working on a new sock. I didn't give up. I'm working on a new sock. Maybe we'll actually get 2 out of this one, but I am doing the double stripe sock pattern by, is it Marina?
Yeah.
Koala. Yeah. And I'm using Claire's yarn, her sock club yarn, which is probably what you guys are going to always hear me use because I'm in her sock club and that's what's gotten me doing socks this year, even though we haven't done it successfully. But I love that pattern. I'm doing that with a contrasting like turquoisey aqua color.
I love that color. That contrast looks so good.
I know. I love it too, but I'm not going to say who the yarn is because they're not liked in our industry and I don't even think they dye anymore. So point being,
tell me after the show.
Controversy drama. But so that's why I haven't said what that yarn is, but it's still cute yarn. And I really like the pattern because it uses knit through the back loop, so twisted ribbing, which is my favorite.
Oh,
and
yes,
so
I love the twisted
it's just
ribbing.
taking a while to knit because it's a twisted rib, and I don't know. Me and socks are just not happy right now, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
So right now I'm stuck. I did the heel flap. I'm turning the heel. We'll see what happens. But
I'm so proud of you, Chelsea. You're doing so well.
Thank you guys. One day, I will say, I was telling this to Claire. I was like, or both of you. I was telling this to both of you last night that I was just like, I was so tempted to just say screw it all and start knitting a shawl because I was like, shawls are easy. I can do shawls. Or a sweater. Like I could have even started a sweater or a hat or something, but I didn't. And you know what? I started doing these fingerless mitts where like they weren't even they were fingerless, but they were fingers. Like you still had to do like half fingers. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they had like the little tips.
Yeah, that's
like
easier.
hobo gloves.
Yes, exactly. But and hobo gloves with like a mitten flap over it. And those are way easier for me to do than stupid socks. So there you go.
They're your kryptonite. I like it.
Well, let's just all take a moment. Let's also all take a moment to acknowledge and congratulate Chelsea for not giving up. We don't give up.
Yay, Chelsea. I really am so proud of you. And I don't think you realize that how well you're doing. Like I had so many half-finished socks. Like even just knitting projects in general, I have more unfinished than finished projects. So
I do too though. One of these days I will show up and you'll be like, Chelsea, what are you working on? And I'll be like, I finished a pair of socks. 2 socks. So let's just all like, wait in anticipation for that day because it'll happen.
That day will come sooner than you think. And I really wish that you would have watched my Kitchener stitch tutorial that I sent you.
Oh, Chelsea. And you know what? It's not even that. Like I would have been okay. I like how she's throwing this in my face.
I know. It's like
No, and I watched it. It's a good thing, but I watched it and was like, oh yeah, I know the Kitchener stitch because I got all haughty and like conceited and was like, I know what I'm doing because I've done this before. And I went to do it, and obviously, kryptonite just everything.
You're just brought down by your own hubris, Chelsea.
I know. What can I say? So
now
Frenchie, what are you working on?
Okay, so last time that we chatted, I had like 3 projects on the needles, and I actually finished one of them, the blue, the teal, and the variegated shawl with all the blues and stuff on that in it.
Oh,
The ebb
the
and
like
flow.
aqua. Yeah.
Yes,
The one
yes.
we talked about that one.
I finished that. I got it blocked, and for those who are on Patreon, I actually kind of like showed a video of the finished piece there. So I got that one done, and then I put on just right after that one a new projects back on the needles for that. So I still am working on the 2 projects I talked about last time. The golden yellow shawl worked with the round table yarns with the all over lace pattern. Then I'm still deciding.
Was that the one with the yarn where it literally looks like gold thread? Like it's gold.
It's beautiful, Frenchie. It's such a nice color.
It's a bit of a slow knit, so I need to speed it up a little bit. So if I don't want to get, fall behind on that. But I think I'm going to do like one section, like the end section all in garter stitch, just to balance out the lace, the all over lace with some extra texture in there. So I'm still working on that project. Hopefully I'll get that done within the next week or so, because my next project after this, because this is one of the patterns for the Mystic issue, I'm planning on doing a full pie shawl for the Mystic issue. And that's going to take forever to do. So I need to get this done. I also have to.
You decided on the full pie? You're not doing the half pie?
Yeah, I'm doing a full pie shawl. And I'm just like,
wow.
What am I doing? Yeah, so that's a plan for the future. I'm still working on this Sakura shawl piece made in collaboration with the Australian wool store, Catherine. I just finished the body, and then I'll be working on doing an arrow lace stitch border. Hopefully get that finished by the end of the week. But I've been using lots of beads for this, and so it's been a really fun knit. Although sometimes the beads do slow me down because I have to pick up the crochet hook, get the bead, hook the bead, and stuff like that. But it adds a nice little flair to that. I'm not sure if you've seen it yet, Claire. My yarn fell. But they have little cherry blossoms there. If you can see.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you. Hold on, let me run after this yarn. So that way the cat doesn't get it.
I was like, get it before BMO does.
Yeah, and they got tangled up. My projects got tangled up. And so, so those were 2 projects I talked about in the last podcast episode. I'm really eager to get these off the needles. But the next project that I cast on after is actually a hat project that I'm making exclusively for my Patreon subscribers, because I reached a goal, the amount of Patreons.
Yay!
On Patreon. Yay! Woo! So I'm making them a free hat pattern, as a thank you for that. And so I'm using, where'd I put the tags? Where did they go? Yarn is falling everywhere. It is a disaster. But the yarn that I'm using for this hat pattern is from the Fibre company. And the yarn is Road to China Light, Silken Jewels. So it's a luxurious blend of cashmere, camel, silk, and baby alpaca. So that's luxurious yarn right there.
That's the softest you could ever get.
Yeah, it is
besides
so soft.
Kivit.
Yeah.
Besides Kivit, yeah.
And Kivit is what is Kivit?
Kivit's the Kivit's the
Is it an ox?
It's isn't it under the under layer of an ox or a buffalo?
Yes.
It must be an ox. I think it's an ox, but it's the under layer.
I thought it was a bunny.
It's expensive stuff.
So when you said underlayer, I first thought you meant their tummy hair or something, but you mean their undercoat.
Yeah, they have many layers. Is underlayer not the right word to use?
Yeah, no. I just thought maybe you meant from a different part of the ox, their belly or something.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Seriously, this is why we can't record at 10 o'clock at night. I'm did I say something wrong again?
No, you're fine. You're fine.
But you know that's not actually such a weird thing. Cashmere is taken mainly from the neck of the goat. It's not so weird to have different fibers.
Yeah, I actually wonder. Okay, you guys chat. We need to educate everyone. I'm going to find this out. They all probably already know.
Okay, so I'll finish talking about my project and then you'll bring everybody up to speed on this. Okay, so so I bought 2 skeins of this yarn. I don't know where I can find the name of the colorway. I guess it's ametrine, but it's, again, guess what color it is? It's purple! Because I love purple. But oh man, this yarn is ridiculously soft. And so I'm knitting a really, basic, I don't want to say basic hat pattern, but with, I got the ribbing and then the body.
Ooh,
Stuff
that's
for the hat.
pretty.
But this stitch pattern I got from the Japanese Stitch Dictionary that everybody's freaking out about, deservedly so, but it's just like, I've had this book for like 2 years and everybody's now finally getting on board. It's like, okay. But it has like lace and some really simple cables and baubles and stuff. So it's a really fun project to do. And it looks like little butterfly wings and stuff like that. So I'm really excited for how it's knitting up. And I've posted pictures of this on Instagram so people can see what it is, but this is going to be exclusive to Patreons only if I can find out a way to make it work that way. So yeah.
Woohoo, Patreons.
Yeah. I mean, we had a whole bunch of new people join us on Patreon over the past few days, so thank you so much to everybody who joined. I really appreciate that. Super happy about that. So yeah, I guess that's all the projects that we've been knitting. So I've got 3 projects on the needles. Hope to get all of them done by, next time we talk. That's for sure. It needs to get done.
Yeah, I really hope all of mine are done by next time we talk too.
And maybe Chelsea will have a pair of socks.
2 weeks.
Maybe.
Nice.
Don't hold your breath. I don't know if I can get a pair done by next time. We'll see. Considering that's next week.
Okay, Chelsea, what did your research find?
Okay. I'm just going to read some little parts out of Wikipedia, but here we go. It is the inner wool of the musk ox. It has, so the musk ox has a 2-layer coat, and kivit refers specifically to the soft underwool beneath the longer outer wool. It says, hold on, there was one other thing that was really cool. Kivit is stronger and warmer than sheep's wool and softer than cashmere wool.
Wow.
Yes. But unlike sheep's wool, it does not shrink in water at any temperature, but this means that it also is not useful for felting.
Oh,
but
interesting.
I don't know why you would want to felt kivit, but there you go.
It kind of sounds like a magic fiber. It's
Yeah,
got
and
it
it's
all.
expensive.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It is dang expensive because I was looking it up. Hold on. Bijou Basin has 100% kivit lace, and it's $198 US dollars for 2 ounces, 400 meters.
Oh wow!
Like when I said it's expensive, I mean it's expensive.
Okay, because I was thinking like $40-$50 a skein, but no, this is like
$198.
Holy crap!
That's when you know you've hit luxury.
That's for sure.
Well, though, like, softness is really subjective as well. Like, for some of the really luxury fibers, they're really itchy on my skin. And I think that it's really personal as well. Like, I think that merino is just the softest, best fiber ever. Like, it's soft because it's a wool, and I don't really like any hair type fibers. So anything that's got a hair is itchy on me, and it feels soft if I touch it with my hands, but if I put it up against my skin on my neck or chest, it's just really itchy.
It's the itch
and I'm not allergic to it either. I just have really sensitive skin.
I like yak. Yak is one of my favorite because it's not super soft like cashmere, but it's like velvety. That's how I yak. I like yak.
Yeah, yak's a nice one. But yeah, I'm a sucker for a good like merino cashmere blend,
MCN,
good all round. Yes, MCN. But even like merino silk, merino cashmere, merino is just like that's like my good all over yarn. Like can do everything for me.
Wool is just perfect. It's like the best fiber ever because it's just got so much air in between the way the structure of the wool is. It fits a lot of air pockets, and then it insulates so well, and that's why it's so warm. It's also got the grippy little bits on it, like you guys know how the wool structure is. No. Or should I go on about it more? No.
Maybe in a future episode.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna go too deep into
Professor Claire will teach us.
Claire nerds out about something that no one cares about.
No, I mean I care a lot about it.
I love it when you're on the show, Claire, because you gave us like the whole history of the color purple last time.
Exactly.
I actually had so much fun when I watched back our first episode. I was good. Oh, that was really cool. Like, even though it was really weird listening to my own voice, it was just like really cool to hear our conversation.
Well, do you want to hear something else, Claire?
Yes.
You want to hear about how I met Stephen West?
Yes, I do. Because
tell it. Are you gonna tell the whole story or just the proper story, Frenchie?
Would you like me to tell the whole story? I mean,
I want to know because I'm a Patreon member, so I should get to know the whole story. So
well, if you're a Patreon member, you actually do have the full story.
We're so concerned that I'm like, is she gonna tell the full story here?
Should I tell the full story? I mean, Chelsea, you can ask me questions, for clarification if you want me to, because you know the full story.
I just told you what to do, and you just decided to finally listen to me. So,
but anyway, so for those who are on Patreon, I did a February recap video and actually showed videos from us. Well, I'll share more of the story, but of meeting Stephen West. There's actually video that I took and stuff like that. And that was exclusive to Patreon. So I guess those who are not on Patreon, this is like going to be me sharing the full story, but no videos. you have to join the Patreon if you want to see the videos from that. But okay, so let's all settle in, children. I'm going to tell you the story of how I met Stephen West. So like Stephen West, he was on vacation in Japan for like 3 weeks just for leisure. It had nothing to do with business. He wasn't doing any workshops. It was just fully to relax and to visit and see what Japan was all about. Let me just say he blends in really well with like Harajuku. Like that's like, it feels right. It blends right in that area. It was kind of fun.
I was thinking the same. When I saw a photo of him in Takeshita Street, I was just like, yeah, he was like born to be there. That's just so him.
Yeah, but like the moment like he landed in Japan, like I had some students of mine from Swatch Studio just sending me messages being like, Frenchie, he's in Japan. Are you gonna go meet him? And then I texted my friend who owns a yarn shop in Osaka, and I was just like, Stephen West is in Japan. Is he coming to Osaka? And we were just like texting back and forth trying to figure out where he was, and like had people like sending me updates on his location. I was like, this is so creepy.
That's
so
so
like,
funny.
He's in Kyoto. Frenchie, he's in this place. Frenchie, he's going to Osaka today. And so when the news came that he was going to visit Osaka, like, for his last leg of the trip, I immediately text my friend, was like, he's going to be in Osaka, and then she sent me a message back saying that, oh yeah, so some of my customers are going to have a knit night with him, or, knit with him and stuff like that. And I was like, and they're going to meet up at this place and stuff. I was like, oh, that would be so much fun if I went to see him. And it was at this time that because I know that Chelsea is like a huge Stephen West fan, at least I believe so.
Yeah, I've met him and spent some time with him. He's cool.
Yeah. And so I was, I sent messages to Chelsea. I was like, Stephen West is in Osaka. Apparently he's going to be doing this. Should I go? And then what do you say, Chelsea? I
was like, do it.
And so there's Chelsea telling me to go. And then there was my yarn shop friend who was also telling me to go. And I sent her a message and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm really afraid of coming off as creepy. And then she sends me a message back saying, I know. And I was like, what is that supposed to mean?
And then I'm texting her going, and Frenchie's like, I don't know where he is. I'm like, just go look for him. It's not that hard to find him.
And then like I sent her updates of like, okay, I'm at the train station. Okay, I'm at this place where he's meant to be. I'm looking around, and I also send her photos of like of my face. Just being like,
So you're just walking around Osaka trying to find Stephen West, just hoping you'll bump into him in a city of like millions of people.
well,
It was
we knew
the train station, right?
Yeah, it's a train station. We also knew the name of the hotel he was at and what time he was
Oh my god.
Like, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm taking a break and eating a crepe," and I was like, "Okay."
Well, I was going to spend this much time, and if I went all this way out to Osaka Station, I was like, I want to get myself a treat because at Osaka Station they have like yummy Nutella crepes and the actual like crepes, like French crepes, like I like and stuff. So I was like, I want to eat a crepe, and then maybe I'll just like wander back and see maybe if he's there. And so I walk back, look down the hotel lobby, and there he is. Standing there in all of his glory and his ridiculous, like his, I want to say ridiculous, like in a bad term, but like just like
outfit.
eccentric outfit. Yeah, that's for sure.
It
And
kind
it's
of
like
sounds like you found a rare Pokemon or something.
he is the rare Pokemon.
There he was.
Was he knitting when you found
No,
him?
he was on his phone. He just
Oh.
finished knitting, and so I go up to him and I'm just like, excuse me, are you Stephen West? And he's like, yes. And I just like had a freak out.
You had to ask if it was
I'm
him.
sorry, I'm really bad at starting conversations, and so I always feel bad for people who are like, oh, Frenchie, I'm coming to Osaka, I would like to meet you. And I'm just
That's
like,
so
I really hope
sweet,
I
yeah.
don't destroy your image of me because I'm really awkward. But anyway, so yeah, I go up to him and I just have like and he says yes, and I'm just like, ah! And then I had a freak out. I was like, oh, you probably get this all the time. I said, actually, and he says, actually, no. I mean, at knitting conventions, yes, but out in public, no, not really. I was like, oh, no, I'm a freak, that's for sure. So, and, I just had a quick chat with him, like, oh, how you like in Japan and stuff like that. And then I like invited him to my friend's yarn shop, and he's like, okay, I'll come on Monday. And we took a selfie together, which I posted like on my Facebook, and that like got a lot of likes.
Did you find him easy to talk to? Because I was like,
Yeah.
for how big a name he is, he's just so easy to talk to.
That's what I really like about him. So on Monday, so my friend's yarn shop, her shop isn't open on Mondays. And so I forgot to tell him that fact. And so I was like, Yuri, he's coming on Monday. I'm so sorry your shop is not open. And she's like, I'll open it for him. So she had her shop open the entire day, and he came like right after closing. But it was really nice because, again, like what Chelsea said, like he's a huge name and stuff like that. But he took the time to go out of his way just to say hello to, us too, because I came to see Yuri at her yarn shop. And so it's just, us three sitting at her yarn shop, knitting for a bit and having a cup of tea. But yeah, he's very easy to talk to, and he's very chill and very down to earth, which was kind of an interesting contrast to like his Instagram page, where he's very eccentric, very over the top and exaggerated sometimes. But like when you're actually talking to him, he's just like, let's just all be zen and chill.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then
he sounds like a really nice person from everything I've heard.
Yeah, he really is. And he's signed some of his books, and he also signed my printed copy of the Fibre Secret issue. So he also got to see my work and as well as Chelsea's work.
I love
You're like, hey, sign my book just on this page with my designs. Oh no, wait, it wasn't that page. Let me flick through a few more pages.
No, he flipped to my book too, because Yuri was like, oh yeah, this is her book, and I was like, ah.
Oh, that's so
glad
cute.
to see that, because he signed on the credits page, and I was like looking at your photos, and then all of a sudden I saw my name, and I was like, what? He's signing next to my name?
Yeah.
I had a fangirl
so
moment
sweet.
over here through Instagram.
Yeah, it was really lovely. So even though he stayed for like 20 minutes, it was still like, he went out of his way to, like in his last day in Japan, to say hello to us and stuff like that. She was just freaking out afterwards. She was so excited about it. Deservedly so, but yeah, she was so happy. Yeah, so it was a really good experience, and also kind of like a unique one, just being able to, it wasn't a workshop, it wasn't some big event, it was just him, just hanging about. And so I got to meet him in like his, small, I want to say like a person, not maybe a personal setting, but just like in a very small setting,
In his natural habitat.
Yes, the yarn habitat. Yeah, so that is the story of how I met Stephen West.
Yeah,
She
that's
did it.
awesome,
She
Frenchie.
did it. She did it.
Yes, and I was sending Chelsea so many messages. Can we
It was
get
so
update?
much fun
Yeah.
seeing the messages come through. And I'm just giggling, and my husband's just like, what? I'm like, I'm with Frenchie on her adventure to find Stephen West. It was great.
Yep. So there is that. Shall we move on to the next topic? Guess like
Yeah.
on the topic of like trying to spot knitted things, we're going to talk about spotting knitted things on the silver
That's
screen.
true.
Mm.
So the topic, the inspiration from this topic came from, again, Twitter, that just went up in like happy little, I don't know, say, because sometimes when things like go bad on Twitter, we say go up in flames. So when something good happens, what do you call that? Twitter goes up in what? Sparkles?
Glitter.
Glitter. It went up in glitter. So I guess in the US, like a couple weeks ago, the movie Black Panther came out, and some very keen-eyed knitters noticed that one of the characters in the movie, Nakia, played by, how do you pronounce her name? I want to say, make sure I say it right, Lupita Nyong'o. She was wearing a shawl, and people were just like, oh my gosh, this is a really nice knitted piece. And then the designer of the shawl, also the costume designer, like who was in charge of all that, she started talking about, it was designed by Josh Bennett. I think he's the guy who knits on Instagram, but he's like one of those like big designers who actually like creates knitwear designs for movies and stuff like that. And also shared now the patterns online along with the yarn that was used for it. And it's kind of nice to see what yarns were used for, because, they not only use Noro, but also like Madeline, Tosh, and Malabrigo, which is like, these are the brands that we know. And so it was really exciting. So I guess today's topic is just sharing what other instances that we've seen knits on both the big screen and the small screen. So who wants to go first? Let me see. Chelsea, what are your favorite on-screen
Mine are
knits?
both from the small screen, I guess you could say. Well, actually, no. Okay, so the most iconic one I can think of is the hat, it's not. I don't know the actual term for the type of hat it is, but the hat on the girl in the Secret Garden movie. It's a tam, I think is what it's called, and it's this like floppy hat. And if you've ever seen it, it is just like iconic, and I've always wanted to knit that one. It's just this really slouchy. I think you have a design that's kind of like it, Frenchie, like one of your very, very first designs, like the really slouchy hat, and then she has a pom-pom on the end of it. That one's really, like, that's the one I think of when I think of online on-screen knits.
Oh, is it red?
Yeah.
I found it.
Yeah, that one.
That's a slouchy hat, that's for sure.
Yeah, but I just like, it's iconic, I feel. The other one is, I don't think it's knitted. I actually think it's crocheted, but I'm not sure. It's Emma's baby blanket in the Once Upon a Time series. The white baby blanket. I don't remember if it's knitted or crocheted. I just remember it, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. With the purple ribbon that goes through it.
I'm really glad you brought up. Oh, sorry. I interrupted you. Go ahead. I was going to say, I'm happy you brought up Once Upon a Time, because sometimes Emma wears some really nice knitted hats. Like, that's one thing I noticed. I was like, oh, I like her hats a lot.
Yeah, and then speaking of TV shows, the other one, like, and Claire's going to be like, yes, Gilmore Girls has like all these cute little knitted scarves and knitted hats, and they even did a whole episode about knitting. And that one makes me happy. So those are my top 3 of ones I've seen. I see them a lot, and I always get really excited, and I always try to figure out how I can do it too. Another TV show. I'm gonna go on, you guys. This is crazy.
That's fine.
I'll stop at this one. But Grimm, it's not on TV anymore, but Grimm had some really, really good hand knitted items. I feel like the TV shows that are based either in the Pacific Northwest of America or the Northeast are always have really good hand knitted things.
Nice.
And I remember reading, was it reading or no, it was Very Pink Knits on YouTube, did a series, like did an interview series or interview episode with everyone should go look it up. It's a big name. She's a knitter, but she does it for Hollywood. So she's one of those ones that knits for Hollywood.
Mhm.
And I think she's the one that did Emma's blanket. So I think it is knitted. I'm not sure. But anyway, really good episode. Very Pink knits interviewed this lady. I don't remember her name, but yeah. There's
Cool.
my 2 cents on this subject.
What about you, Claire? What are some of your favorite on-screen knits?
Well, definitely Gilmore Girls. Yeah, Chelsea knew she had my number there. I love all of the cute outfits that those ladies wear, and especially when it's knitwear. And I'm always wondering, like, how do they have such big wardrobes? But then I guess it's because they are fictional characters. But yeah. Also Harry Potter, of course.
Oh,
There's
yes.
some
yeah.
really good knits in there. Like, not just the awesome iconic scarves that they wear, but often you'll just catch characters wearing like really cute Fair Isle or just really warm looking knits that they need to wear because it's so cold over there.
Mm-hmm.
A funny one that I can think of is in Bridget Jones's Diary, where Mr. Darcy and Bridget are both wearing the ugly Christmas sweaters when they meet.
Yes. Any ugly Christmas sweater in any movie, but that one
Yes.
specifically, yes.
And, you know, like, I actually don't think Christmas sweaters are ugly. I think they're adorable. But, like, unfortunately, we can't wear Christmas sweaters here because it's usually upwards
Right.
of 30 degrees on Christmas Day. But I just love Christmas sweaters so much. So, yeah, anything that has those ugly Christmas sweaters, I'm always like, wow, look at that.
Nice.
Can I ask a question?
No. Yes.
Okay, never mind. No,
Go
I was
ahead.
wondering, something else that happened this week, and it kind of goes with what we're talking about, is Krysten Ritter
Mm-hmm.
was on the Stephen Colbert show, and she was teaching him how to knit. And she's like this big knitter now, and she was on the cover of Vogue Knitting and things. But I'm wondering, do we know if she has knitted anything for her character? In anything that she's done, not necessarily.
Doesn't she wear that scarf in Jessica Jones, like that kind of cowl
I
thing?
think so. I thought so.
I mean, it could
But
be.
it's just a question. Like, she is a knitter and she's an actress. Like, 2 worlds combined. Does she actually wear anything on screen? I think
I'll have to check that.
Amanda Seyfried,
Siegfried?
whatever. Yeah, she's a knitter as well.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering, like, actors who knit, do they ever wear their own stuff?
Maybe we can talk about this in a future episode. That's actually what I was thinking for a topic for the next one, like talking about actresses or actors who knit.
Okay, so table that conversation. I just was like, oh, we're talking about on-screen knits. I wonder if this is a thing too.
Maybe you can do some research on that.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do another whole episode on how knitting is portrayed in the media too, because I have so much to say about that.
Yeah, definitely. That's a really good topic. So listeners, keep an eye out for that one.
So I almost forgot what I was going to say after all that. Yeah, I wanted to quickly say, like, this isn't on-screen knits, it's on-screen knitting. So I think it's close enough. But I nearly died when Jake the dog started knitting on Adventure Time.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that was the best. So anytime any knitting happens on TV or movies, I'm always way more like than when I see knits. I'm just like, they're knitting. They are actually knitting.
Talking about that, and also you mentioned Harry Potter. Isn't there that one scene in the Chamber of Secrets when Harry's at the Burrows for the first time, and he's like, going downstairs, and he's like, oh my gosh, so many cool things, and he sees, like, in the background, isn't there like a pair of needles, like magically knitting up a scarf or something? Or was that just something I made up?
I've seen it in the window at Harry Potter World, like from me seeing it on TV
I
because
can't
I've never
remember.
actually been there. They do it in one of the windows.
Huh. I feel
But
like
yeah, do you ever like because it's been so long, like maybe you read the books and you saw the movie like 10 years ago, or, but then like you forget which bits are from the book and which is from the movie.
oh no, I think it wasn't just in the background. He didn't like Harry wasn't like, oh, what's this and anything. It was just something that was going on in the background, I think, because it was a really long scarf. Maybe. I don't know.
What about you, Frenchie? You didn't tell
Yeah,
us what you
I was gonna say. Actually, so one of my favorites, it's actually kind of like the one that kind of started my whole knitting journey was the vest cowl thing. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but it was a vest cowl hybrid that Katniss was wearing in Catching Fire. It was like this, you had the bulky knits. And that inspired my mom to try to knit because she wanted to make that. And so from me just seeing her knitting all the time kind of like inspired me to be like, okay, I want to pick up the needles and try just to knit. I wasn't really interested in making that particular project that she was trying to do, but it was, I feel like associates the spark that started this entire thing to that piece, that item.
Of course movies inspired you to start. Your little movie buff. I love it. I love
And
it.
that's so perfect for you too, Frenchie, because Katniss is such a strong woman and she's just so amazing and she fights for her people like you. So it's awesome.
You guys,
what?
We totally missed one. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it was like such a cultural thing in our industry. Outlander.
Oh, okay. I have another one, but yeah, Outlander for sure. Yes, like that was all over the place.
It's like half of like I'm watching it for the redheaded guy. I forgot his name. Why did I forget his name? And the knits. Like those are the only reasons I watched that show.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Oh, that's a good one. I do want to watch Outlander. Another one, and also this particular project's infamous for for getting a whole bunch of lawsuits and stuff for like this down. It's from Firefly.
Jane hat.
The Jane hat. Like people started selling that hat on Etsy, and then they started getting takedown claims and stuff. I think, is that how the rumor goes? I don't know, but
yeah.
So I asked this question also to some members of my Facebook group for asking for their favorite on-screen knits. So I'm going to share a few of their answers. And so I'm going to start with one that actually was an example. Somebody said The Matrix, and I actually had to look that one up because I had no idea. I was like, The Matrix has knitting in it? And then I looked it up, and there's like an article that I found that talked about knitwear in dystopian type films and stuff like that. So like in The Matrix is a whole bunch of like beaten up sweaters and stuff like that, but they're clearly knit, but it's more like punk.
Oh, like where some of it's like coming out, like loose, like it's been like there's like intentional like drop I think stitches, most like intentional drop stitches and stuff.
Mostly seen like the second and third Matrix movies since they spend time like out of the Matrix. I guess spoilers for the Matrix.
In case you've never
I think it's been long enough.
You definitely know. Okay. Okay, somebody said, this is from Janessa. She said, I couldn't find a good pick, but I've always loved the cardigan in the US version of Being Human. Anybody heard of that one?
What? Being
Human.
No, I've never seen that.
And then a lot of people mentioned Nakia Shaw from Black Panther. The pattern's it's like a number one in Ravelry right now. You're going to see a bunch of those.
Okay, I'll go look at it.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous design. Let's see, Laura, and lots of people said Gilmore Girls as well. And I was actually looking at the photos that they provide. It's like, these are like really intricate patterns too. Like, let's see some brioche, some really intricate color work and stuff like that. It's not just like sometimes the simple scarves, but it's like full out.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what I like the most about the Gilmore Girls knitting. It's not all just like really cliche or really chunky or frumpy or like dorky. It's actually really nice knitwear.
Mm-hmm. Then somebody said Sherlock, and it's actually the image that they posted is actually of Sherlock actually knitting up the Sherlock with a Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah, he's actually knitting something.
With the skulls. I love that picture in general. Benedict Cumberbatch and the beautiful. I love that picture.
Mm-hmm.
You guys
Yes.
are late.
It's awesome.
Let's see, somebody said Hermione in Harry Potter, and I do know, like in the second to last movie, Deathly Hallows Part 1, she was wearing a hat that had some baubles on it. Also, same with Emma Stone in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Number one. At the end of number 1, she was wearing a hat that had cables and baubles on it. Let's see. Then somebody mentioned the Katniss cow. Hermione's sweater and cardigan in the Deathly Hallows. Dun, 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 dun. Once upon a time, there's always some knitwear in each episode. I love Mary Margaret's hats, and then she posted an image of Mary Margaret's hat, and it's like a cute little leafy lace pattern too. Yeah. Oh, and then one of my favorites, somebody mentioned seeing knitting in Studio Ghibli films, like Spirited Away, and
Yes.
and stuff like that. Kiki's Delivery Service, Howl's Moving Castle. Yeah, I definitely remember that. And there's like an image that someone posted of like the little mouse trying to knit, and it's like a little jumbled mess.
I didn't know animation was okay, because if that was the case, for all the moms out there listening, Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, his sweater is totally knitted, and you can see the stitches and everything. So shout out to little kids animated shows that have knitting in it.
Nice. And someone posted a group. There's a group on Ravelry called As Seen in the Movies. There are loads of patterns and links there. So I might link to that Ravelry group if people want to continue just going down the rabbit hole there. But yeah, basically knitting is everywhere. Like sometimes I don't pay enough attention.
On that thread, a few people mentioned The Holiday.
Mm-hmm.
There's some really nice knits in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, and then somebody was like, so it seems I'm the only one who thought of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, but he wears that red sweater or something like that.
See, Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood is the homage to Mr. Rogers. So I got you, girl. Whoever said that, I got you.
But yeah, knitting is everywhere. I think some people like even caught some knitwear pieces in The Last Jedi. So Luke was wearing, from Luke.
Nice.
Spoilers, he's in The Last Jedi.
Spoilers, you might see
Just
knitting.
call this episode Spoiler Alert.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, and also content alert for Chelsea's potty mouth. I'm just kidding.
You need to do a thing at the beginning that's like, if any of you have children in the room, please be aware that this episode has profanity.
Yeah.
Really dirty profanity.
Yeah.
You know.
But if you're, to any listeners listening to this episode, definitely feel free to share I know we've got like this whole thread on the Facebook group page, but if you're listening to this, definitely share your favorite on-screen knits as well. It's just
in
everywhere.
The comment.
In the comments below, wherever the comments are to be commented. Yeah. Yeah, it's getting late, so I think we can start wrapping it up now. How about that? So we can all get to sleep. I think we've recorded for way over an hour now, so.
It's because we haven't all been chatting before.
Yeah. We missed each other. But what they didn't see was the whole 2 hours that we chatted yesterday when we were actually supposed to record this.
Yep, and then we're just like, we're tired. Alrighty, well, thank you so much to all our listeners who tuned in this week. If Claire wants to. Hey, Claire, where can people find you online?
Okay, so you can find me at We Love Knitting on Instagram and We Love Knitting Yarns on Facebook, and you can also find me at Knitting Inspiration on Instagram. It's not me, but it's my curation of beautiful knitting from the knitwear community on Instagram.
I guess spoiler alert, Claire's behind the Knitting Inspiration account, so.
Spoiler alert!
Yeah.
I think most people have heard by now, but yeah. So yeah, or you can, that's basically the best places to find me.
Alrighty, Chelsea, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Knitfitch if you want to watch my awesome Sock Saga story,
Yeah.
the triple S.
Yes,
If you're
Sock Saga.
sad Sock Saga, there you go. Or you guys, if you're in the industry, if you're a dyer, designer, yarn shop owner, whatever it is you do, crochet or knitting, whatever it is, if you guys want to join me and if you are part of that, you can join me on Facebook at the Fibre Boss Collective. It is a Facebook group.
Yay! And I guess now I'm the last one. You can find me everywhere, pretty much everywhere online at Araha Knits. So Instagram, mostly on Instagram and in my Facebook group. Well, I guess my Facebook group is the Fibre Muse Circle, and then on Instagram at Araha Knits. And yeah, I guess that's the main places that you can find me. Or
And
also
beer,
on Patreon. Yeah, beer, whatever. Okay, that's going to be another topic. You can also find me on Patreon at patreon.com/Araha Knits. Yeah. So thank you so much for listening in this week, Fibre Muses. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Definitely share your favorite on-screen knits with us in the comments. And also, if you haven't had the chance yet, you can subscribe to us on iTunes and maybe even leave us a review and a star rating there. That would be really much appreciated. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Fibre Muse podcast. If you would like to contribute your story to the show, just send an email to hello@arahanits.com and you might just hear it on the air. If you enjoyed the show, please rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes or on YouTube. Really appreciate it. Until next time, continue transforming your yarn. Bye.